All right, we're live. Tapping Birdie. Houston Open Week here with Ryan, aka Sharp Selections on Twitter. You asked to come on TIB. I got you on. How you doing tonight?
Man, I'm doing great, and such a pleasure for this week to come on. Like you give me the opportunity to bet on when someone's 3-1 to win the tournament. So
Yeah,
I can
no,
go,
great week. PGA Tour's back.
I can go two ways. I can take the favor and say I got my first winner on your show, 1 for 1, or I can try to fade it. And then if I'm wrong, I can say well, it's not really fair. It's the guy's even money in a tournament. So
Yeah, no, that I think that's fair. I think there's easy Vic laps either way because I think you could easily Vic lap Scotty winning this week, and he most likely will win. And I think it's some sort of a hot take this week to say that Scotty Scheffler is not going to win. I think that covers more ground than most weeks saying the tournament favorite isn't going to win. Yeah, no, I'm honestly excited for this week. I wish the field was a little bit better. It really falls off after kind of the first five guys. And obviously Scott is here, but I think this is actually one of like the better courses that they play on the PGA Tour. Like I like the fact that it's a municipal course. I like the fact that it's super long. I like the fact that it's Tom Doak design. I think this is probably a better spot in the schedule than in the fall. But I'm a bit upset to see such a weak field this week.
yeah, I mean, we can talk about that. I've been listening. I mean, I listen to a lot of content like every week. I'm sure you do. The whole community does, and it's like people. So they changed the time of the schedule. So now I wonder like how actually like different it's going to be. So I would think in the summer it looks like it's going to be all dry this week. It's pushing the 80s some days, I believe. To me, that sounds like there should be rollout. But from what I'm reading with this, I don't know agronomy that well. I'm not going to
Yeah.
sit here and BS. But I almost feel like there's guys they can find the fairway. I think it's warm enough in Texas. I feel like it could be a little cooler in November. But again, I guess it's all about the grass. And again, that's not my place to say anything. So I'm really curious to see how this plays. And I kind of made my card to kind of account for all these options, not just bombers. So we'll get into
Yeah,
it.
no, I agree. I thought it would play firmer
Yeah.
in this time of year, but it's not. I know Thagala had an interview today, but my good friend Galfback Caddy just tweeted out some notes. Course is playing softer, greens are rolling pretty fast. With the overseed, the ball will get less roll in the rough, so finding the fairway is important, and the course will play longer. I would have thought that's the opposite, but I guess not. I don't think it really should factor too much into what we're doing this week. But I do think the change will definitely play a bit of a factor. But you are I wouldn't say you're like a normal Twitter like golf tout, but you bet on everything. You bet on all different sports. You're a big NHL better. You love betting on Colombian soccer and Russian soccer. Like you kind of bet it all. So what's kind of been your start to like, how did you get into gambling? How did you get into posting your plays on Twitter? And like, how did you get to this point where you're at right now?
Well, I think it's like, I mean, I feel like everybody has the same story, but you kind of start with like, it depends. You kind of grow up in a family. Like my dad gambled all the time. Like casually, but I don't know what he does now. He's like asking me for picks. It's funny how you grow up. He's like trying to like don't gamble, don't gamble. And now he's like,
Yeah.
who do you got at the Houston Open? You think Sky? And he's always like, I'll just take he takes the favorite every time. But so that's how it starts. But then you get to college, and then you just start messing around with your buddies and stuff. And I created the sharp selections, and like everybody wanted to be sharp when you start gambling. I personally don't even really like the name anymore, but I'm already here at this point. So it's just like that is where the origin came from. It's like you just put sharp, and all of a sudden people think you're sharp. So I literally that's literally how that came about. And then I just started posting free picks, like posting obnoxiously, like 1,000 plays a day, like threads under threads. That's how many plays I had, and that's cut back for years ago. And now I strictly stick to golf and NHL. I don't know
Okay,
what I would.
So you don't, because there was a time, I'm not mistaken, you used to bet on random soccer heavy, right?
I could name the bench players on Ecuador soccer, like Serie B. Like I was down bad. Honestly, I would anything on TV. I was buying subscriptions to watch like the craziest stuff. Like it was time to kind of just pull it back. You get a little older, and Yeah, and then one thing led to another, and I teamed up with Dub Club, and then I just kind of had to focus on a couple sports. You can't just do it all.
Yeah.
And I love golf. I played all the time. I grew up playing hockey, so I mean they're my two things, and that's kind of what I do now. So, yep.
Yeah, no, I think we're in the same boat with hockey and golf being our favorite sports. I don't know if hockey's past football for me, but you know, it's definitely close, and you know, I'm excited for the NHL playoffs, even though my Islanders will not be there. But you're a Flyers fan. You know, we're kind of rivals a little bit, but no one gave them any credit this year. No one said they were going to make the playoffs, and even when they were in the playoff picture a couple months ago, people kept saying they're going to fall off. They're going to fall off. Like how excited are you? I mean, right? I mean, they're going to make the playoffs. There's almost no chance they don't, right?
Yeah, I think it still says like 70%, and there's still
Okay.
about 10 games left, and there's still the Capitals doing dumb stuff behind our backs, and the Sabres are actually playing, or they're sorry, the Red Wings, they're actually playing right now. So I hope they don't go to overtime for sure. We can't give any charity points out. And I don't know. The Islanders shocked me. They started looking good there. The Sabres were making a run. So there's a lot of teams there. Honestly, we're just a few more injuries away, but we're just not good. We really aren't. But we play pesty style with the Twitterella style. And I want to see playoffs just to see the first round. Playoff hockey it's ecstatic. Every
This
shot
is the
you're just
best. There's
like
nothing better.
you're slugging beers every shot. You're so nervous. It's just it really can't compare to many sports. So I want to see it. It's a good experience for the young kids and hopefully. But yeah,
Yeah. So who would you play right now if the playoffs started today? You would play the Canes, right?
it's a good
I
question.
think
I
you
think
would, because Canes are second in the Metro. You play second in Metro.
yeah, the playoffs are weird because we're third. You would think you'd play. I guess that would yeah, because the first yeah, I guess you would play the Canes in that case, and that would be a bloodbath. But
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't want to go up against the Canes in the first round. But we could talk hockey later. The Flyers are playing right now against the Rangers away. Always root against the Rangers. So
one.
I'm hoping that I'm hoping you guys get it done, even though you know it doesn't really matter what the Rangers do. They're going to be in the playoffs, and they're probably going to go decently far. But Valspar Championship last week. Peter Malnati is your winner at 300 to 1. It's so funny because obviously Peter Malnati's kind of like a punchline on the PGA Tour as kind of this quirky dude who's like straight up not good at golf, but he's on the policy board. So like he's known a lot just because of, you know, he always gets interviewed and, you know, he obviously represents kind of the lower class players on the PGA Tour. And he goes out and he wins the Valspar Championship at 300 to 1. And it's like, this must have been completely out of left field. Like, how the hell did Peter Malnati, you know, win? He was actually playing pretty well. Like, it's actually insane how well he was playing to be 300 to 1. I think he finished top 15 at Pebble Beach, which he got a sponsor's exemption into, which people were upset about. And then he finished top 10 at the Honda. And then he made the cut at the Players and had a really bad Sunday to finish, like, towards the back of the pack. But I know the course fit and like his past results made no sense there, but like for a guy 300 to 1, like he really wasn't in that bad of a form.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'll just say this for some reason, like Peter Malnati, first of all, he never gets any television time until he's on the 18th screen on the 72nd hole. I mean, he obviously he got television time, but anytime I think Peter Malnati, I always thought he was like some 60, 45, 50-year-old Stuart Sink level. How old is Peter Malnati anyway? Do you know?
He's probably like 30, like low,
Maybe
like,
it's the,
I think he's
maybe
like
it's
32, probably.
the name, maybe it's the color ball, maybe it's the I don't know. Bucket hat. I don't know what it is. Although bucket hat's kind of like a younger kid thing, but although the guys on tour are older, like Damon, they wear bucket hats. But it's like, I don't know. For some reason, Peter Malnati just always sound like an old man to me. I don't
Yeah.
know too much about him. I didn't honestly know he was on the policy board, but maybe that's how he got his little drop there. And
Yeah, no, I think the drop was definitely it definitely didn't look great. I mean, me personally, like every single PGA Tour player takes that drop, and that's just kind of the rules. And it was fortunate, and he was super gracious about it. Like I personally, like don't have massive issue with it. Like you know, I think you shouldn't be able to change, you know, rough to fringe or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's just the rules of the PGA Tour, and every single person would have taken that drop. So it's just kind of like whatever to me. But honestly, that shot he hit on 17 was unbelievable. Like it was actually one of the shots of the year. And of all the people you would think you need to make a birdie, don't need to, but like make a birdie on a 200-yard par 3 to win a golf tournament, like Peter Malnati's bottom of the list, absolute bottom of the list.
Yeah, so like that whole tournament for me, like I said, I only watched some of it. So I had JT as my like big guy at the top of the board, and after the 7-9 on Saturday, I thought I wasn't going to watch Sunday at all until I heard like you pull up the app and you check, and I'm like, oh, there could be a playoff. Everyone loves a playoff, so I started tuning in. And I don't even know what happened with Justin Thomas. I heard he lost. Did he lose a million putting? Is that what happened?
Yeah, he missed he didn't make a putt over 2 feet all around. Like he could not make anything. Like he fully had the yips.
But anyway, watching like how it ended and all, it's like it's amazing. So Cam Young on 18, it was 18, right? He pulls it left deep.
Yeah.
And how do these guys always get a window? I feel like it's crazy. It's so longer than JT when you try to make the FedEx playoffs last year on the 72nd hole, and he had to do that Tiger Woods-esque curve around the trees. I feel like most of the time these guys have these perfect windows. I mean, you have to pull the shot off. That part's amazing. But the fact that people don't talk about, not that I guess it would have mattered in hindsight, but his lag putt after he hit that great shot, he left it like 12 feet short. I'm like,
Cam Young, he made so many putts in that final round that I never would have expected him to make. Like he actually putted pretty well that final round. And that's obviously always been his biggest thing. They kept saying on the broadcast. I was like actually getting mad how much every time they saw him, like, this is what's been holding Cam Young back. Like, can't putt. He actually putted really well. Like, there wasn't a lot of putts that he should have made that he missed. Like, there really wasn't until the 72nd hole when he had that, just terrible. I mean, it was a tough putt. It's not like a putt you just get up and down every single time, but he's got some issues. Like, I don't particularly know what it is, and I think it's different than a lot of different guys. Like, I think obviously he has more runner-ups than anyone on the PGA Tour without a win ever. Like, that's Tommy Fleetwood, that's Alex Noren. Like, he's been on the tour for like 3 years. Like, the sheer amount of runner-up finishes he's had without a win in that amount of time is crazy to me. And I'm not, obviously he'll win, but I don't know. I think it definitely might take some time. I don't think that, like, this has to be a negative in his mind.
Yeah, I'll just say selfishly, I was happy. For like 2-3 straight weeks, like all through Florida Swing, I'm back in Keith Mitchell, I'm back in Cam Young. Like, I'm going to get ahead of the curve. And I finally said, I'm done. I'm just not taking one of these guys. And they're both just up top. And
that's the worst. But I
didn't have them that week. So I was like, selfishly, I was relieved because now I can still get my opportunity to hop on Cam Young with everybody when he finally gets his first. He's going to get his first.
When? Do you think he wins on the PGA Tour this year?
I do. I actually do. I think.
Yeah, I think that was like at the end of the day, the 3-putt didn't matter. Like it truly didn't matter. Pete Malnati birdied 17 and he made a comfy par on 18. Like, it doesn't. He didn't blow the tournament with that one putt. He still wouldn't have gotten in the playoff, and I don't know if he knew that, but still, like it wasn't that egregious. But the putter has been actually pretty good this year. Like I don't. I do think he wins this year, but I think, honestly, it could be soon because the putter's been good. Like, he hasn't been just bleeding strokes on the green. He's been able to, like, gain 2 or 3 strokes, like, every single week. Like, he still has his other issues, but I really do think that's the biggest thing holding him back. It's not like a Scotty level holding it back, but there's definitely
I'll just add to it. I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing, but doesn't he have, like, a demeanor of, like, literally nothing? I feel like he never shows emotion, and I don't know if that you could say that's a good thing. He obviously cares. He would have went to live. I mean, he still could, I guess, but I don't think he will. I don't think he will at this point. But anyway, like I think he just doesn't show enough emotion, so that could be a good thing. And I think he'll get through and he'll get across the finish line at some point. So
yeah, his demeanor on the course definitely isn't great. He does not seem like a positive person.
He looks like angry. He looks like angry, but a different type of angry, like kind of just like disappointed. While you have like Max Homa looks confused on the course, and then you have other guys like Wyndham Clark he still gets really angry. There's just people that show different emotions. That's just how the game is. But Cam Young always baffles me. Like he doesn't show really anything.
Yeah,
So
no,
like,
I'm curious as to what his celebration will be like when he finally wins. Like I don't know if he'll just do like a laid back chill thing or if he's gonna go crazy because he really has some of the worst demeanor on the PGA Tour. But just kind of holistically, like this PGA Tour season, almost everyone who's won a non-elevated event was like fighting to get in the elevated events. Like Chris Kirk, he was in them, but again, he's kind of a fringe guy. He wasn't locked up for anything. Grayson Murray, he just got his card. He wasn't in the elevated events. Nick Dunlap, he was an amateur. He obviously wasn't in anything. Who else? Pavone, he just got his card. Jake Knapp, he just got his card. Like these guys seem really motivated. At least the guys just coming at Peter Malnati, obviously not. Like these guys seem super motivated coming out that their like tour card is in jeopardy and they're not in these big events. Like I really think it's correlated. I really think that these guys that are not in the elevated events it's not a coincidence that they're winning all of the events that they need to get into it. Whereas guys like Cam Young that are already in it, or Sam Burns or whoever, they're all in it. Obviously they want to win on the PGA Tour, but it just seems like at this point it can't be a coincidence.
yeah, I was just gonna say before you ended it with that point, I was like to piggyback. I was gonna say maybe I never thought about it that way. Maybe these guys are kind of content, and they for a lot of some of these elevated events, it's like within 10 of the lead or no cut at all. So like you really just got to be pretty bad to not make it in there. So like they're going to get a heavy paycheck, and maybe you just want to peak around the majors. I mean, that's what everyone wants to do. So maybe they don't have like that motivation. Maybe elevated events have kind of ruined the tour. Everyone's like equipment's now more equal. The courses, the setups are easier. It's why are these guys winning? Maybe it's just about the motivation. Its motivation is not necessarily there. I mean, these guys are getting what they want now. They still want more money, obviously, but I don't know. That's a good point.
Yeah, and like the people who have won the elevated events are like major champion elite golfers, like Wyndham Clark, Decky, and Scotty, and Chris Kirk. These are guys that are excellent at golf. I mean, I think Chris Kirk's kind of a bit of a long shot, but he still has like 7 PGA Tour wins. So it's just really interesting how this season's played out. And in my opinion, there's really only been like 3 or 4 winners that like kind of fit the mold of how we normally, what winners we expect. Not that favorites can't win, but kind of what the general public likes to bet. They like to bet good golfers that are like 20 to 1 to like 100 to 1, obviously more close to 60 to 1. And, Decky, Wyndham, Nick Taylor was a long shot, but like you could have been on him. And Scotty is a 2 favorite. Like those are really the only winners you could look back on and be like, damn, like I really could have been on him. Like it wasn't a crazy long shot. It wasn't a favorite. They were good golfers on good courses. And normally, like those are where the vast majority of winners come from on the PGA Tour. Is kind of 20 to 100 to 1, good players on good course fits at good numbers, and like it just really hasn't happened this year. Like, has that kind of impacted your betting or thoughts or anything?
Oh yeah, I would like. We'll get into it soon, but I've been hammering long shots. I've been more open to them. I would say in the years past, I didn't get above 100, not even close to 80, 90 at times. In the last year and a half, I've been lucky enough I've hit 26 winners, and I hit Hideki actually at 90 to 1 this year. So other than that, though, I tried like one live tour and I hit the Neiman, the first Neiman win before he went on his rant, but it's been harder. Obviously, it's been harder for everybody. And now I catch myself I'm following this theme, if you will. I put Novak on my card every week. Foreshadowing, I have him again. But it's like, I'm chasing these 120s, 130s, 140s. And it's not just because I think more, I don't know. I think it's opened my eyes that something's weird right now on the tour. And I'm just going to kind of keep riding it till.
Yeah, I think like I think it's totally fair to be like, I want to bet more long shots. But those are hard, obviously. Like, it's harder to pick the right ones. Like, Pete Malnati fucking winning at 300 to 1. Like, it's so different than, picking like Cam Champ this week or like Andrew Novak this week or Mark Hubbard this week. Like, those kind of guys aren't really even winning. So it's just been a tough year, and I've lowered my exposure to the PGA Tour. Like I usually bet to win like 35 to $4,000. I'm just not doing that anymore because one, it's a waste of money. Obviously, when you win, it's amazing, but like just the way it's played out, it's just I can't get myself like that worked up and like bet that much every week. It's just not worth it to me. So I was obviously mad at the players because I thought I was going to hit a winner, but I've lowered, my exposure. Like it's just to me, it's not worth investing that much every week with the way these events have gone.
Yeah, I've added a few new things. I'm big into betting round matchups, and um, I've been tracking them for 4 years. And I noticed like my first round bets are like negative 50, 60 units, and then it's like everything else is amazing because you look at these first round leaderboards, and it's always like who's in first place. So like I've learned to at least call back on that, but even more so, I've now added actually full tourney matchups. I never did that
Yeah.
until this year. I started 2 weeks ago, and now I'm 3-0 on them. It's a small sample, but I'm trying two more again this week, and it's just attacking guys who I like, but I can't account for these Malnati's that are just going to come out of nowhere. But I can get my guy who can beat someone who I think is not going to do good that week. You could
Yeah.
have gave me 75 golfers last week, 75 picks. I don't think I would have landed Malnati in one of them.
Yeah,
Again,
I
I don't.
think if I dove into it, sure, but like off the top, no, like there's just no way you ever would have picked Pete Malnati. Like I really just, it's tough for me to do placements and matchups and stuff. It's just to me, if I want to bet a couple $100 on the event, I want it to be on outrights. To add on that to try and make up for it when I could easily just, go like do terrible in that because those aren't guarantees or anything. That's just hard for me to kind of get behind. And maybe I should spend more time. Like it's just tough because I'm willing to have a week where I have no one in contention or no one play well. And then, I would have got wiped if I bet them all positional. And then obviously there's week like the players where I have three guys finish top five. Like, yeah, it would have been amazing, but there's also all these weeks where I just don't have anyone remotely in the mix, and it makes it a bit tougher.
I feel like I landed, like I said, I hit Hideki, but other than that, I sniffed some top tens. But I feel like you've been kind of knocking on the door. Players obviously sticks out, but I feel like you've been
Yeah.
knocking on the door a
Yeah,
lot.
no, I've had like a bunch of guys like finish second like early in the year. It's just like you kind of need shit to break your way, and just like nothing's broken my way this year. So it's definitely been frustrating. But like at the end of the day, it's just like it just is what it is. Like you can't expect to win every week. Like I need a winner, like definitely could, but I'm not gambling money I can't lose. And I'm just hoping that one of these days, like one of these tournaments, I actually fucking pick the winner and they cross the finish line on Sunday. But let's talk about Houston. I think the course, I don't normally do this, but I was watching Tony Finau when they have like the every shot he hit when he won in 2022. This is got to be one of the places where you rip driver the most out of anywhere on tour. Like this place is pretty wide open off the tee and it's super long. Like all the par fours are super, super long. Like a 7,400 yard par 70, like that's major championship length. A lot of these par fives are like over 460, closer to 500 yards. And you're just ripping driver every single hole. So I think it's a super driver heavy course. I want guys that are long off the tee versus, other weeks. And I don't really care that much about accuracy. And honestly, the winners here, I didn't really see that initially, but, some people pointed out to me, the winners here have gained a fuck ton putting. Like a lot of the leaderboard has been guys gaining 5, 6, 7 strokes putting. I think that has to do with kind of the ease of the greens, how big they are, and, kind of the scoring nature of the course. So I'm kind of overall holistically, I'm not a huge, course fit model, blah, 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 that stuff. But I definitely love driver putter this week, like that kind of skill set. I'm not like, Jones into bet Tom Hoagie or anything, but I definitely want guys that are super long and that can spike with the putter. Like that's kind of what I'm looking for. But I do think the scoring, Vegas, golf odds, Jeff Sherman. I don't know if you know him, but he does the over-unders every week. And it's 14.5 this week, which I think is pretty fair. But there's no wind. I would not be surprised if these guys take it a little bit lower than expected. Like, I don't think it's a difficult conditions course, even though the scoring has been pretty low and, people have won at -10.
Yeah. I guess I'll go with your last point. I think maybe because of how it used to be in the swing season, like maybe I didn't watch this course enough, and I really didn't know about this beast being the fourth or fifth toughest all year they play.
Yeah.
Maybe it has to be because it's like the November and like I tune into some of the games at that point, but you're into football at this point. Like there's a lot of things going on that I'm not tuning into the Houston Open in November. So I guess I guess I should have looked into more of like the videos that you looked at, but I read all about it. And like you said, I agree with you. It should driver heavy. Like there's minimal bunkers. There's like no water. They knock down more trees. I read. So yeah, it just tells me pretty wide fairways. So yeah, everyone's just going to rip driver, and I'm pretty sure you can get away with almost everything now because they shorten the rough from what I read as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, these guys are going to be pulling driver all the time. So I agree with you there. I'm huge into tee to green every single week. It sounds like it's like a cheat code stat, but if you look at every time someone wins the previous tournaments, that's usually within our top stats. They're leading almost everybody in tee to green. Look at Scotty Scheffler, is like better than everyone in tee to green by like 1.6 strokes. But like tee to green is everything. And then because that kind of brings in all the chipping aspects. And then in putting for me, I did a lot of lag putting because I see they have like 7,000 foot greens or something like that. And like different quadrants. So you're going to have to, and I know the greens of regulation are really low here. So I believe, a lot of that is probably due to wind as well and coming in from 200 yards.
Yeah.
So guys are going to be able to chip or putt from off these runoffs. And I think you're going to just be able to have good approach putting, lag putting. So I put a lot of that into, I don't do models like you either. I feel like you and I are very similar the way we look at golf. I take stats, I look at them, but I don't bring in spreadsheets. Yeah. I do a lot of stuff like hand, honestly. And it's worked in the past. This year, only one winner, but we'll get there. And yeah, I agree. I think the over 14.5. I have it tagged at 16 under wins. So
I definitely could see that. I definitely could see someone winning at 16, 17 under. Like I don't think that, these guys are just so fucking good. And even a 500-yard par 5, a 500-yard par 4, like these guys are still hitting like, 8 to pitching wedge in sometimes if they're long and the wind's right. So, I hope that it's pretty difficult, but I'm not holding my breath that we're going to get like some -12 winner. I don't see that this week. I think the most, important person to obviously talk about is Scotty. After he won Bay Hill, I just talked a lot of shit about Scotty. He's not going to win the Players. He's not going to gain putting. Like he missed a 5-footer on the first hole. Like I quote tweeted it and laughed at it. And he literally ruined my life. Like he literally ruined my life. And he stopped me from having like a 3-way playoff between all my bets. And obviously, I was wrong. It was kind of a joke when I was, and he never won no one's ever won the Players back to back and blah, 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 all this shit. Now I'm fully he's probably going to win this week. Scotty should win this week. He probably will win this week. I am firmly in that camp versus, he can't win 3 times in a row. It hasn't really been done a lot. He's tuning up for the Masters. This isn't the greatest course fit. I do not subscribe that at all. Every time this guy tees it up, if it's not the fucking Amex, I'm expecting him to win. And, obviously I'm not saying bet him at, 2.5 to 1. But if this is it's not the greatest course in the world for him, but it's a good course for him. It's not, the Amex or the Travelers Championship. And, he just goes on these runs where he just wins multiple times. And this field is just fucking terrible. It's just not good at all past 5 guys. And my thing is, I just don't see a world in which he's not T5 or better going into the final round because he could just shoot -4 here every single round in his sleep. And if he's, in the final group with fucking Stefan Jaeger and I don't fucking know, Norin and Keith Mitchell, I'll take fucking Scotty there. there's only one person in this field that I truly trust, like has big enough balls to actually beat him and is actually close to his level, and that's Wyndham Clark. But I'm fully expecting Scotty to win this week. Like I just don't see it any other way.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, I agree that he has a very good chance to win. The way I try to look at it, do you think he wins this 26% of the time, 25% of
Yeah,
the
so
time?
if this tournament is played 100 times, fuck yeah. Yes, more. I think more. Like
And then you,
genuinely, if you play this tournament 100 times, he wins 25 times. Like not even a question.
yeah, and then so then the other thing is like, so he wins this week. He goes and he takes off next week, obviously, you would think. And then he goes to the Masters. Is he going to win 4 times in a row?
I mean, I personally think, like in my mind, I think it doesn't actually make any sense, but I personally think he has, like, I would be more surprised if he didn't win the Masters than this week. Like, I truly don't know how he loses Augusta. I really don't know how he loses at Augusta in 2 weeks. This week, it might be a little bit of a letdown. He might be focused on that, but I like he won 4 times 2 years ago when he was less accomplished, not number one player in the world in a 2 month span. I don't see why he couldn't do it again.
Yeah, so I'll say just a couple things. So to try to back Scotty won't win this week is like, well, I guess, do you think anything's up with his neck? You think he's good to go?
I mean, he won with the worst neck he's had, so I don't think the neck is an issue.
Yeah, and if anything were to flare up, I don't think he would risk Augusta. So, but I don't see him having issues. He just seems even keel about everything, and he'll be fine, good to go. But that's one way you can try to talk yourself into not taking him. On the other side, he's like what 4-1 to win the Masters. So like 3-1, you can't like get 2-7, 2.
No, I think he's not even 3-1. Yeah, best odds plus 275. He's like 250 everywhere else.
That's kind of so maybe that is value compared to 4-1 at the Masters against good players.
I mean, it's like that just shows how crazy his Masters price is. It's 4.5 to 1 to win the fucking Masters. Like, and I think it's fair because if he, even at the Players, like he was super low. Like, if you put this guy at 5, 6, 7 to 1, the books would get killed. He's their highest exposure every single week. Like, even at the Amex or whatever. Like, not me and you, but the general public's like, yeah, why would I not bet Scotty, to win this tournament? So they have to price him this low because people are just gonna hammer him because it's truly, he just is so much better than everyone in this field. He's so much better than Wyndham and everyone else. He's just miles and miles better than. I understand it's golf, anything can happen week to week, but after what he did at the Players, like you could just never doubt the guy.
And I guess the other thing I'll say is, so there's a couple of things. Like we said at the beginning of this, how we think it might play like firmer. We thought it would play firmer. So in that case, other guys have a chance to get out there. But there's some people that say this rough won't allow the ball to roll as much. So that brings back accuracy again. So you can say that favors Scotty. But at the same time, I'm hearing chipping's easier. I think we both agree Scotty is the best chipper on tour, especially on tight lies, especially. But if they're making this overseed and it's supposed to be easier, that allows other guys, I think, to have more of a chance this week. So that's another.
I totally understand, and I honestly do think the fairways are so wide here that the fact that he's the greatest driver in the world, among other things, helps him less. So I understand that, and the fact that the winners here are getting a fuck ton putting. I subscribe to all that, but I'm just not going to be like, no, he's not going to win 3 in a row. Like, I'm just, after what he's done, like, I just have no reason to doubt him. So you can't parlay it, and the odds wouldn't even be good. But like parlay this week to win the Masters, I just don't hate it. I could see him just going on a run again. But I bet Wyndham Clark at 14 to 1 on Bookmaker. He's like 12 to 1. I like the 14, 12's kind of whatever. But, I was on him at the Players. For me, talking about this event, I really want guys that can just rip driver and are super long, and I really want good putters that can spike 6 or 7. That's Wyndham Clark to me. There's no one in the field that fits that better than Wyndham Clark to me. And he is the only person that I think he's really wants to beat Scotty, and I think that he's motivated by this week. am I concerned about a letdown of back-to-back runner-up finishes? He's in Colorado, his hometown, at the Avs game, getting fucked up. Like, that is my biggest concern, that it's a natural letdown spot. But just if the course fit for me, it's too much to overlook. And I trust him down the stretch on Sunday. So, that's just kind of an easy bet for me. And I don't really like anyone else. So I thought Wyndham Clark at 14 was a good bet.
Yeah, I actually had Wyndham Clark. I make my initial list, and then I wanted a couple other guys a little bit past him, so I ended up just taking him off. And honestly, I just told myself, like, you got to tell yourself certain things that get you off certain people. And I just kind of said what you said there. I think that second that the players and the travel and the celebrating he's doing, I'm just telling myself for some reason. But I will say, I think they say this course favors a fade, if I heard that correct. Yeah. And I mean, he has a slice at times, but yeah, I have no issues with Clark, honestly. He was on my card, but I took him off like last second.
So who did you bet up top?
So my main guy this week, my one and done, is going to be Thigala. The guy is just becoming. I think the issue with him is he's kind of like him and Spieth, like switch bodies in the sense of where now Spieth is like so. I mean, he always was inconsistent, but Thigala's issue was you didn't know what you were getting from him, and now I feel like he's actually putting together maybe more time on tour. He's getting more consistent, so I like that aspect. You want to talk about spike putters? This guy goes low, and I think he's an absolute genius with the short game. He gets around. He got 22nd here last year, and I think on Sunday he carded a 64. Which was 2 strokes better than anyone else. So not that I'm saying a year later you bring momentum, but it's just the fact that he went low on this course. Different time, obviously, but like November, but it wasn't that long ago. And I just think he's playing well. And I think a course like this is supposed to be just like kind of, I think it's all about scrambling here. I keep reading it. I'm going to believe it. And I think Thigala is perfect fit for this.
I think it's a good course fit too, because I think the fairways are pretty wide open, and that's where it could get a little wonky. And he's a guy that could spike with the putter and spike around the green. So I like the play. It just not for me.
Well, I guess I should say the odds. I got 22 to 1.
Yeah, so. He's like 18 now. I think he's like 21 on Bookmaker. So I could get there. I thought this was always a great spot for Will Z, just like Texas, difficult event, long course. I don't know. I just don't feel it with Zal. Zal's not a bomber. He's just not. Like, I don't know what, metric you want to look at, but he's really been more accurate. Like, he's been kind of killing it with accuracy off the tee, more like 315. Like, he's not, just absolutely nuking the ball off the tee, like crazy numbers. He's really more accurate. And I don't trust him enough to spike with the putter to win here. And I just don't love it. I just don't love it with Zal. I thought it was a spot I wanted to bet him, but I haven't been on him all year, and I just not for me this week. But my thing is, I don't really like anyone else. Like Day, Finau, I'm just out on. Siwoo, I think, the ball striking's been great, but I don't like him on, bomber tracks. Like, I like him on short positional courses. I know you bet him, but that's my thing with Siwoo this week.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll just say I agree with Zal. Something just didn't feel right, and I went back and looked, and he it's not awful. I mean, but the last 2 weeks he's losing around the green. A couple mini green bars the weeks before, but before that, again, like losing up to like 1.5 strokes around the green. I think for me, it's just constant. Like, I don't think this is going to be a 10 under win. I like Zalatoris in single digits. I like Zalatoris in majors. I like Zalatoris, and I just don't get that vibe from him this week, and I'm not impressed with his chipping. I'm leaning on that sword. It's going to be a chip fest, scrambling. So I don't like what I'm seeing right now from him, and I just like him at tougher tracks. Yeah. They say it's a tough track, but I don't know.
So why'd you bet Siwoo?
So Siwoo, I mean, he was like 5th. I saw on tee to green, 12th in greens in regulation. I mean, it shouldn't be hard to hit that many greens, although it is far, and they say they miss a lot, but they're huge. And he also hasn't lost strokes off the tee. I think he lost those strokes off the tee. I think once in like a year and a half. The guy absolutely just stripes it down the middle, and he actually looked. So it's weird. So he's a terrible putter. He actually had a good week last week, but he's so high up in lag putting. So I guess he's one of those guys like Zalatoris last year before he figured it out. If he figured it out, Finau, these guys who can lag it, but then they get to 2-3 feet and they just shit themselves essentially. So I mean, part of it is just he just is great at scrambling too. So I stuck to my guns here. It's just guys who can scramble, guys who are great off the tee, and essentially that's where I landed with it. I got 30-1 on him. It's I just like what I'm seeing, honestly, and he's shown he can win.
Yeah.
I gotta bet people that can win. I can't be betting
Yeah,
people that.
I agree about Simu just kind of being able to win and pop up. I don't know if this long of a course is right for him. Norin at 35-1, like no, I'm just never betting Norin at 35-1. The guy's never won on the PGA Tour. Like it's not even a situation of if he beats me, he beats me. Like there's just no way that Alex Norin wins at 35-1. I think it's a good spot for him, but no, I'm not doing that. Mitchell, I like. I mean, I'm not gonna, fault the guy for having a bad Sunday round. I don't particularly think of Keith Mitchell as like a loser or someone that can't close, even though he only has one PGA Tour win. I just don't think he's put himself in the mix enough. But I think this is a pretty good course for him. I just again worry about the putter. I don't know if he could gain a fuck ton putting, but I like Jaeger 50-1. I think in some way or another, I'm going to bet him. I really don't know what I'm doing with my card. I've only bet Wyndham Clark and Cam Champ without Scotty. That's all I really have so far, but I do like Yates. I think that, he definitely, he might've peaked, with the back-to-back fourth place finishes, but this is just a course I like him on. I don't think it's going to be super difficult, but I like him on more difficult tracks. I like him on driver-heavy tracks. He played well at Mexico and Torrey, two places where you just rip driver everywhere. I just think it's kind of a good course fit at 50-1. I think there's a guy that could level up this year. So I like Yags at 50.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Jaeger might be a poor man's Cam Young. They're kind of I don't know why the German Cam Young. They kind of just like they're great off the tee, and then they're so weird with the putter. They lose 1.5 or they gain 1.5. So again, spike, going back to what you like. Jaeger has shown he can spike both ways. So I'll take my chances. I don't mind guys missing cut in Florida. I mean, there's just a couple shots and all of a sudden you're +6 and you just miss it. Certain guys don't like Florida. It clearly looked like Jaeger didn't like Florida. I like those 2 T3s, and then Florida swing happened to him. He's great on, I saw on long, difficult courses. He's good on scrambling, tight lies. He's played well here in the past. He's playing well, I think. Again, Florida swings aren't for everybody. So, yeah.
And his first tee time out, first round leader, mortal. Like I'm not gonna jinx it. I'm not gonna tweet about it. Jaeger first round leader. If you're not betting him and you bet first round leader, just like find something else to do. Like Jaeger first tee time out, loser, can't win, but he's good course fit. Jaeger first round leader is easy. You have to ride.
Is he first one out? I didn't know that.
First one out.
Jeez. He's not alone, right? Like Dunlap was?
No, he's not alone. He's in a normal threesome. But I love that. Tom Hoagie 50-1, maybe the worst bet I've ever seen in my entire life. Truly no chance. Like absolutely no chance this week. Tom Hoagie. He's a fade of the week. I'll target him in matchups. Not that I bet that. Bo Hostler 55. Like it's just this is what turns me off about this field so much. It's like this 50-1 range is terrible. Absolutely awful. Like none of these guys. Keith Mitchell is the only fair number. Every other number is fucking awful for the talent of guys. And I understand it's the field and whatever, but when you have a guy 2.5-1, I'm just not getting hyped to bet Bo Hostler at 55. I know you bet Knapp and Kitayama. I like both of those. They both make sense. Knapp, I don't think can win again. And Kurt, I could see Kurt. I understand why Kurt's popular.
Yeah, Kurt, I saw he's like 6 in this field and from 200 plus. I love that. And I love that he shown ability. Again, another complete spike of the putter, great scrambler. I don't know. Like you said with the Knapp thing, I think I'm probably just taking the bait. There's a few of the guys. Honestly, the rest of my card is taking the bait. They're really not. There's not really any rhyme or reason for some of them, but honestly, that's what happens this year on the tour. You just kind of just take guys who don't make sense, and then I guess you'll get the win. So that's how we're doing this.
Yeah,
and
you bet KH Lee 75-1. He's been playing well. I don't hate it. He's won in Texas twice.
Exactly. He's the Valero King. He's the Texas. He's not TPC, but it's municipal and it's close enough. It should feel like home for him. Again, his approach has been awful, like losing 2 to 3 strokes at times. But the guy just absolute a wizard around the greens. I'm hoping his momentum from last week, how he ended, should kind of propel him forward. Again, another winner, a couple times. Guys, there's kind of a theme of my card for the most part is guys who can win and then guys who can. I kind of agree with you, the spike putting. So that's just how we're going to take it this week.
Yeah, I don't hate the KH Lee shout. I just went all like I'm just not getting excited to bet any of these guys. I don't think any of them could win. I've never had this year, kind of a longer shot. Sweat like it's just really tough for him to be like, okay, I'm gonna bet like Wyndham and a bunch of bombs. Like they're not gonna win. They're just not gonna win. Like it's either gonna be some random dude or Scotty, or fucking hopefully Wyndham. It's just tough this week. But I really do like Cam Champ. Like in all seriousness, I think Cam Champ is a fantastic play. He fits exactly what I want at this course of extremely long off the tee. He's literally one of the longest guys on the entire tour. And spike with the putter. Gained 7.9 at Valspar, gained 5.2 at the Mexico Open. Driver putter, give me a chance on Cam Champ this week. Like, that's it for me. There's not really much more to say. It's fucking Cam Champ. He probably will miss the cut. But at 150-1, 100-1 without the Scotty market, I feel like he's trending a little bit. And I think how you were talking about, you kind of give guys passes once they get out of Florida. Maybe Novak was just a Florida guy. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, so Cam Champ, my only concern is obviously his irons, his wedges are absolute ass. So
yes, not good at golf.
So he's going to be chipping all the time, and it's already hard to chip. I guess maybe the overseed might help him this time, but I don't think he can chip well. So you better hope it's a spike week, is all I will say. But I'm totally cool with the whole the off the tee, the guy, what's a 2-time winner again. We're these guys who won twice like 90 years ago. I'm thinking that's kind of we're riding the Molinari theme. We're riding these guys, their resurgence on tour. That's the theme. So I don't hate any of that. Novak, you're probably right. I'm just going to take it to the wheels fall off. You can't knock his ball striking.
Yeah, and he actually played well last week. He did.
He's like top 20 in every stat I look at this week. He just pops, probably because how good he's been playing. So it's a little misleading, but I don't know, man. He's 150-1. I got
you're not wrong. I mean, miscut players throw it out. Other than that, 5.2, 5.4, 1.8, 5.1 on approach. That's great. The putter I struggle with, but I'm kind of with you. I might just because I bet him at Mexico and I bet him at Honda. Might have to go back to him.
Yeah, Andy Noves, as you call him.
Andy Noves. He follows me on Twitter. He's a ball striking bastard.
What about Hubs? Speaking of following on Twitter, you don't have any love for Hubs this week?
Hubs first round leader for sure. Not even a question. Hubbard first round leader. Can he win? No, he can't win. He's not gonna win. But the irons have been hot. He's been 8.3 on approach at the Players, lost 6.4 putting. I don't know how far spike putting we can get you. It's actually crazy his stat line. Again, 8.4 on approach at the Farmers, 8.3 at the Players. And then the other results, lost 0.2 on approach at the Players, but gained 4.8 putting, lost 5 on approach at Honda, gained putting. So he just can't seem to match it up. I think I'm in. Like, if I'm just betting a bunch of long shots, yeah, fuck it. Give me Mark Hubbard. Sure.
Yeah, probably not for another time. But do you have a first round leader philosophy? That's the one market I've never touched.
The first round leader philosophy is basically losers that can't win, but are like good course fits that I think could just go super low in the first round. Like, that's like holistically what it is. It's guys that are good course fits that you might like for a top 20 or like a top 10 or in a matchup, and they might be going out early, and you just bet a first round leader. Granted, this year, Thiegs was first round leader. I had Thiegs outright at TOC. He was first round leader. I didn't have him. Cantley, the one first round leader I hit this year, was a guy I bet outright. And then Xander and Wyndham were both first round leader at the Players. Didn't bet either of them in that market, but I had them outright. So actually, my first round leader card has been good, but it's not as fun. I'm not just going to say, here's my outright card, here's my first round leader card. I want to have two separate ones, but eventually it will come about, because I've obviously hit out first round leaders that were just losers that I didn't think could win, that were good course fits. But yeah, that's basically it.
And then you hit first round leaders for like the 2022 tournament that hits in 2024, and you can highlight it, right?
Yes, like that Keegan. Oh my god! And then back-to-back weeks at the U.S. Open. At the U.S. Open, then the Travelers. At the U.S. Open, I had Wyndham Clark first round leader. He wins. Wasn't first round leader. Then at the Travelers, I had Keegan first round leader. He should have been first round leader and then wins. So it's tough to tie down. It is tough to tie down the first round leader market. You're just never going to get it right. But yeah, basically losers that can't win, that go out early, just bet them first round later.
Yeah, I'll leave that market to you. It's too much for me. But I guess for my last guy on the card is Crazy Carl Yuan. I'm totally riding the 5 strokes around the green, chipping in 3 times on Sunday vibe. Maybe he just chips in every time on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday too. So at 150 to 1 with Carl Yuan. I think he had he played pretty well here one year. T35, sure, whatever. Terrible putter, but maybe this is the week. He finally gained last week. And so, yeah, that rounds up my card. Theegala, Siwoo, Jaeger, Kitayama, Knapp, Cage, Chile, Novak, and Yuan. So it's all to win, about 6 times your risk. So
yeah, no, that's a good you get how to bet outrights. I kind of like that 6 to 7x. I honestly think I'm gonna go Wyndham and a bunch of bombs. Like I don't love the mid market this week. I think it's going to be Wyndham, Jaeger, and then a bunch of guys 100 to 1 that will not win, just will not win. And then we'll move on to Valero, which Scott is not playing in it. We have a shot. And Masters Burner likes Jaeger. I'm in. I'll go Jaeger is your winner this week. Sure.
Great.
Are we down? We
I'm
both
down.
have them?
Yep. The Jeremy won.
Yeah, I'm sure. He went to college in Chattanooga, which is basically Texas. He's basically right there, and I'm fine. I'm fine with that. But yeah, shit odds board this week. Scotty's probably gonna win. If not, Wyndham wins. If not, Jaeger wins. That's kind of how I feel about this week.
Yeah, and I guess the last thing I'll say is for me is I throw a little 2-unit Boyd prop on a top Swede, but I wanted some exposure to Alex Noren. He's not winning, but when I looked at all these dudes from Sweden are just awful. I think. I mean, Bjork is nuts. If you look at Bjork's stats, he gains like 8 putting every round and still can't come inside the top 50. So I don't know what he does with everything else. Vincent Norman, I loved him. I hit him on his first win actually, so he has a special place in my heart, but he's not playing well. And then Norlander, they're just all whatever. So I'm taking Noren there at plus 106 to beat them, to beat all those sweet
2-unit banger.
2-unit banger.
All right. Will tail. I'm down to tail. Also, my one NHL play tonight, cashed in the second. Devils Leafs over. That was an easy one. Did you have that?
I did have that actually.
Yeah, that was an easy play. That was just and Flyers are up 2-1.
Oh, let's go. And then
what else do you have on the NHL slate tonight? You got a late night play for me? It has to hit though.
Yeah, take the Stars Sharks over 6.5.
Stars Sharks over.
Yep, it's going to be a barn burner.
Wake up to a winner.
Wake up to a winner. Put the phone away. Wake up to a winner.
Okay, I'm holding you to that. But there is some good NHL tonight. Who was your Stanley Cup pick?
I took Florida at 8-1 about 3 weeks ago. They proceeded to lose about 5 in a row after that. But they're back on track somewhat. I think their depth, they're better than they were last year. 8-1, I took them. I had a couple other good ones. I'm gonna hit Hellebuyck Vesna like plus 400, so that was cool. I bet Tortorella to be coach of the year at like plus 900. That's not happening, but
Why not? He should win though. He absolutely should win coach of the year.
the refs, everyone hates him. He gets kicked out all the time. So yeah, I don't know, but yeah, take the Stars. I also had the Coyotes at minus 147, but it's like juice out to 160. So I'm not gonna give any.
Yeah, no,
step.
my boy said parlay Stars with Yotes and Reg.
Yeah, I had the Stars. I got up to like 165. I got 147, so I'm not going to give that out and act like take 165. It's a little juicy, but
yeah, I'm happy about Devils Leafs. That was a mortgage play. Doesn't quite cover me for the golf week, but I put a decent amount on it. But I appreciate you coming on, Ryan. It was a good pod. I wish you the best of luck in your golf and hockey endeavors. And hopefully you guys beat the Rangers tonight.
Yeah, I'll just say I appreciate you having me on. And it was just funny. I'm like 4 years ago, you were in my DMs, like, who do you like in hockey tonight? Who do you like on your golf stacks? And now you're the big show on Twitter. I'm always seeing memes from you getting retweeted by everybody. So I'm just, it's nice to see how you kind of grown in this content world and keep doing your thing. And
yeah, no, I appreciate it. And next week, Valera Open, Steve Shermer's coming on. And I'm looking forward to it. And then it's Masters week, and then golf season really picks up. So I'm excited for the next couple weeks. We'll see everyone. Shout out the Tip fans, and hope everyone has a good night.
Yeah, let's go Jaeger.